Hi FlossTube, I'm Jane.
I'm Amelia.
And this is our first FlossTube video. And we're going to show you some of our stitching and some of our craft that we've been working on. So just to introduce ourselves, we live in Sydney, Australia. I've been stitching since I was a kid. I started in long stitch, and I started my first long stitch probably when I was about 10. I got a little kit, stitched that up, and moved on to some bigger kits, which I also did while I was still in primary school. And I don't actually think I've got any of those, but I do have one long stitch that I purchased when I was in high school, and I finished, and I had this hanging in Amelia's nursery when she was a baby. So
Yeah,
I will show you that.
The stitching. It is called Bunny Sleeping.
Sleeping bunnies, and it was a Semco kit. It's no longer hanging, but yeah, it was a good first piece. So then when I was in high school, one of my sisters, she had started cross stitching, so I thought, I'd like to give that a try. And I stitched a little Beatrix Potter. It was the letter N with one of the little animals next to it. I stitched that for my mum. Her name was Noreen. I stitched that for her for Mother's Day one year. I think I was maybe 14 or 15 when I did that, and immediately fell in love with cross stitch. When I was 19, my sister and my mum brought me a kit. It was a Dimensions kit called Antique Bear Sampler, I think it was. And here it is. So this was my first big cross stitch that I finished and framed up. So lots and lots of bears.
You can collect in a photo. Stitch.
Now, whilst I got this when I was 19, I didn't finish it till I was 30 or maybe 31, when I was pregnant with my first. So obviously at university I didn't really do cross stitch, and through my early 20s I was not cross stitching, but once I got married and settled down, and in particular when I knew I was going to have my first, I was keen to get back into cross stitch because I really wanted that to hang in my son's room. So that's when I got back into cross stitch, and I've been stitching pretty much ever since. So they're my, like, some of my older finishes. I'll show you some of my more recent finishes. Amelia got me this frame for my birthday, this year, and I had finished one of these, and when she got me this frame, I thought, that'll look really good in this, and so then I ended up stitching the other two parts.
It's like this Christmas thing, and we were thinking we could put it up on Christmas.
Yeah, so these are Prairie Schooler Santas, obviously.
And then it says
in the middle, yeah, I've stitched out, it's the most wonderful time of the year, rather than putting a third Santa in there. But yeah, I think this will look really nice at Christmas time. So great birthday present from Amelia to give me this frame. I think the Prairie Schooler Santas look fantastic in this. So they're just stitched on, I think it's 14 count Aida, and yeah, used the called for colours. My most recent finish, which I finished on Friday night,
is called The Little Red Riding Hood by the Classic Colorworks and Diane Williams.
Okay, we hold it up nice and close, everyone can see. This is such a cute little pattern. Really, really love this pattern. I stitched this with all the called for colours, which are all obviously classic Colourworks colours, except for Cherry Cobbler I switched out that for Licorice Red just because my L&S didn't have Cherry Cobbler in stock, so I just switched it out for Licorice Red. So I finished this on Friday night, only took a week to stitch up.
Like this.
I'll hold up nice and close. I love it. I'm so pleased.
But like it has like these cute birds just coming in and sitting here, and then the wolf is maybe just right there behind that tree.
Yeah, that's right. So it's about 5 by 7 inches roughly. So it's not a huge piece, but it was my very first time that I've ever used fancy floss. And I had said to my husband earlier this year, oh, you know, you can get all these fancy threads, but, you know, I don't think I'd ever really use them. I think I'd always just use DMC. Well, now I've stitched this and I'm hooked. I love the fancy floss. I love the effect it gives, just using one shade of, or one thread, but getting all those different shades coming through. I think it's fantastic. Love it. Completely hooked. So that's great. I stitched this, it was supposed to be stitched on 32 count creme brulee linen from R&R Reproductions. I actually stitched it on 36 count Stars Hollow by R&R Reproductions. And yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I can't wait to get it framed. I have in mind how I want to get it framed, so hopefully I can get that done in the next week or so. But it was a really quick stitch. It only took me a week to do.
Yeah, it wasn't that really that long, and I was watching her do some of it, and she kept showing us what it would look like each time she stitched.
Yeah, because I normally stitch at night after the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
So quite often the next morning I show them what I've gotten done.
Yeah, and she will tell us sometimes what she will do next and how close she is to finishing the stitching.
I talk about stitching all the time.
Yes, just crazy. It's in your programming.
Oh, really? Wow, good to know. My goodness. So another piece I'm working on is Halloween Rules by Lizzie Kate. Now Halloween isn't actually a big thing in Australia, but I love this pattern, and I think it's great for the kids. They know what Halloween is. You know, they're keen to trick or treat this year. It's, you know, there's a few people in our suburb that do trick or treat, so we'll probably give that a go this year. So here's what I've done so far on Halloween Rules.
It's going to be a really big stitching, and I like maybe the scarecrow, because here's an idea. You could dress up as a crow, then put on the mask and go past one, and then take off the mask.
The kids want to do each of the rules. That's what they've asked, if they can do each of the rules this year. So Amelia will show you the one that I'm working on at the moment.
It's called Stay Up Late, like an owl would do. If you can see the two different owls there.
Yep, so that's what I'm up to. When I finish this particular one, when I finish Stay Up Late, then I will be halfway through my rules.
And my brother's favourite one from my programming remembering brain is Eat Candy.
Eat candy, what a surprise. So not sure that I'll actually get that finished in time for Halloween. It's 30th of September, so we're planning to do our FlossTube videos on the last weekend of each month. It's 30th September, I'm only halfway through, so I'm not sure it'll be done in time for Halloween, but we'll just keep going and see how we go.
Keep on going.
Another piece I'm working on is called
Wicked Christmas. Wicked Christmas. There's witches flying in the sky.
It's a really fun piece. I got this at a craft show in Sydney earlier this year. I think it was in June. And I loved it. I love the witches.
Cute.
And then I love the Christmas as well. So, bit of fun. So I'll show you how much I've done on that. It's a big piece.
It's crinkly. It's a bit crinkly.
It is very crinkly. And it's the pattern is six pages, like 6 A4 pages of pattern. So this would be like the first page would be that.
Yeah.
And then the second page is this bit down here where all the houses are. So I'm obviously working in the middle. Typically always start my stitching in the middle. So I started with the middle top page. This is the middle bottom page. But I really like it, and whilst it is a big piece, it's not a difficult piece.
Stitching?
Yeah, it's
really just like that. It's just a bit not finished. You saw that building she was working on, and the witches are flying above that big old house. It's like it actually is turned into a Christmas, like the house was like a beautiful house, and then when they go past it, it turns into a horrible place.
So it's stitched on 40 count Zweigart Newcastle flax. I have not stitched on 40 count before. I normally stitch on 28 count. So this was my first time on 40 count, and it's completely fine. I thought it would be a nightmare, but it's not.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's nice to stitch on. It's easy once you get going. Although I do say when I put this one away and pull out the Halloween rules, which is on 28 count, yeah, I can notice the difference, but it's okay. It's fun. So I'm also working on a Mirabilia at the moment. It's Cinderella, but I'm not going to show that this time because I actually didn't stitch on that during the month of September. And I am also working on another little piece called a CC Rabbits.
It is also from that craft show she was talking about earlier. If you can see that bunny just there in the long stitch picture just there.
Amelia loves bunnies.
Yeah.
So with this, I don't know, I never even knew that a CC was a type of stitching, but the way it works per the pattern is you do the outline first and then you do the cross stitching.
It looks pretty easy, but doing the long stitch, it doesn't come as it already has done the long stitch for you.
Yeah, all the back stitching, yeah, you have to stitch all that first and then you do the cross stitch. It's stitched on, I think it's 17 count. Oh no, sorry, it's 27 count. Linen banding, and it uses just the DMC black 310 and also the Gentle Arts. It's got a Gentle Art colour for the cross stitch. So it's only 2 colours, but I really love this, and actually what it's meant to go around this. So it all came as a kit.
But it didn't come with these.
No, it didn't come with the scissors. But it's meant to go, when it's finished, it'll go around this spool, which is like a little, holds my stitching scissors. And I thought, oh, that's a cool piece because it's practical and different from just, you know, framing something and hanging on the wall. But I do find it difficult. I don't know.
It looks pretty cute.
I thought this would be so easy, and
It turned out to be a bit tricky.
yeah, it's not easy.
But it is fun.
But yeah,
Still.
it is fun. So, you know, I really need to get back on and stitch some more of this because it's so cute, and it's going to look great when I get it stitched on.
Yeah, and when she finishes it, we might show you the thing and how good it looks when you take them out, and then because just such a cute thing.
So I got this from my local needle workshop, which is in Australia, and yeah, it's great. They were at the craft fair, and I knew it was going on sale for the first time at that particular craft fair.
Yeah, and
So I knew I wanted it, but when I got there,
there was only one. There was only one, and they were really expensive, and there's like only one more left.
well, yeah, they'd sold out. They only had the model left.
Yeah,
So
we went
I
to a
ordered it,
shop,
but
baby.
it came really quickly. So
Yeah,
that was
and
good.
Came in a really cool box. It had a picture of a bunny and it had a really crinkly outline, but it was really a good white on the thing.
So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on some other stuff, but that's what I've worked on in September.
Yep.
So now we'll talk through some of my stash.
Stash.
Because I'm doing a Mirabilia and I'm doing Wicked Christmas, which is quite big, I like to have some smaller pieces to work on in between. So just finished Little Red Riding Hood, which was a smaller piece. But this is another one maybe I'll start in the next month or so.
It is from Plum Street Samplers French Woolens. There it is.
I got this from the same craft fair I was talking about earlier. Loved it. They had it stitched up there and it looked fantastic, so I had to have it. My sister is going off to France this year, so I was like, oh, maybe I can stitch that for her. But since I've got it, I'm like, maybe I need to keep that one for myself. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, because she might not finish it on the time, but if she finishes it before Christmas, because we might be going to their house, she could give it to her then.
Yep. And I'm thinking of stitching it on this fabric, which I don't know what it's called. My cousin used to cross stitch, and she's a quilter, so she doesn't cross stitch anymore. So she sent me a whole bunch of fabric, and this was some of it. I know that it's 28 count, and it's a nice creamy colour, so I thought that would look good. And I've got all the called for colours. So there's Gentle Arts, Classic Colourworks. I've got all of those colours good to go, so it's all kitted up ready. Still deciding if that's the fabric I'm going to use, but at this stage that's the plan, and I don't know when I'm going to start it, but I love it. Keen to start it. And this is another one that I'm keen to start.
I know what it is called, so I will not look at the word. It is called Frosty Forest.
Frosty Forest by
Down
Country Cottage Needleworks. I am in love with this pattern. It's so cute. So I've got all the charts. I ordered these from Down Sunshine Lane in the US because I couldn't find it anywhere local, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay. So I just ordered the patterns from there. They arrived super fast, especially from the US. I reckon it only took
maybe 1 week.
Maybe a week, not much longer than that. So I thought that was really good. But I brought the linen from my L&S because I like to try and support local where I can. This is 32 count Star Sapphire linen. It's like a mint green.
Colour.
It's really pretty, and it's quite different from what I've stitched on in the past.
It's kind of like a really just maybe a dash of blue in it, if you can see.
So that's beautiful fabric, and I got all the threads from my local needle workshop as well. And of course, got all the fancy floss because that's where I'm at now. Which was good because my husband had brought me a gift voucher from this shop for my birthday. So
yeah,
I used it towards kitting up some of these projects. But yeah, this is highly likely to get started in the next month.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, I can break it down into the smaller little projects, and yeah, it's just nice to feel like you're making progress. When you're working on big pieces, it sometimes doesn't, you know, you don't get that feeling very often. So Amelia wants to show you her craft activity.
They're called beaders, and this is one of the ones I've made. You know, it's just sticking on because I use this water spray. Over here you can get it in pink or blue. All you do is just spray it on a diagonal side.
So it's just water?
Yeah, it's just water.
And then it makes all the beads
stick
together.
And to find what you want to make, because I used this template. See how it just matches.
So you get a kit with beads and templates and these trays that you work on.
And all of these different types of beads. They come in, there's if you can see all the colours, there's purple, there's pink, there's intense pink, there's peach, brown and white. You can see them all.
All different coloured beads, heaps of different colours, isn't there?
Yeah, and there's so many different ones. The templates are so this is the first one I made. This is the second one. You can see that's just a triple piece up there. You just look and you put it in the middle. And here's some of the finished one I have made. You know, I was talking about those triple ones. If you look really close, you can see it on this cute doggy. This is a bear from my second packet I got of beaders. I don't need any help. I can just do it really easily. And here's another one from the same packet. It looks delicious, but you could not eat them.
Does look delicious, doesn't it?
And here's maybe a first one I've made. Oops. You know those things that look like this and you put the coin in there and then the ball comes down? Yeah, this is one of those.
So I think this is a great craft for Amelia because she's too little to cross stitch at the moment. But this is teaching her how to follow a pattern and how to choose the right colours and place them in the right spots.
And if you don't have like these colours on the template, why don't you just pick up a random different colour and put them on the template? And
so she's swapping out colours already.
Because I have too much.
So yeah, we think this is a great little activity for her. Do you want to show your pen that you use?
Here's like the pen.
So it comes with a pen in the kit.
You can get pink and blue like this spray you could get.
And you load the pen up with the beads.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to work. You take that off, you put all the beads in there, and then you press this if you want to change the colour.
So then you press that and then twist it round to the colour you want, and then to get the beads to come out.
All you have to do is press that.
And
it's pretty easy.
Put the bead where you want it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Spray it with the water, leave it to dry.
So it's just like for beginners who don't know lots of the crafts they can do. It's really easy, just all you have to do is find colours, put them in the thing and spray it, and when it's dry, take it off. It's easy.
It's great because Amelia can do it on her own and we can sit together and I can cross stitch and Amelia can do her beados. So it's a nice little way to spend some time together doing our craft.
Yeah, and then if she hasn't seen what I've been doing, all I would do is just go pick one of these up. This is one I haven't showed you yet. And then I'll show her. Anyhow, all of it would always be just as the easiest thing. Like, these look like really cool. I really like doing them. They're like these techno masks. If you just look closely. I like it how they're in a diagonal thing, like diagonal line. And then sometimes it has this at the back of them. See those little lumps there? You probably can't because they're a bit dark and light. Sometimes you could, if you have one of those felty ones, those felty shirts, sometimes you could pick these up and stick them on like sometimes I did once.
Okay.
And they're pretty fun, so bye.
I think that's all we're chatting about today. We'll be back at the end of October to show you what we've been working on in the month of October.
Yeah.
Some more previous finishes from things we've done in the past and
Now we have done in the present.
yeah, and any new stuff that we might have purchased.
Past and the present.
Okay, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.